Yeah, so the kid really thinking about getting back to work. Well, starting to already. It's been great. I've been seeing a lot of people I love, and you know what I'm saying. Uh, Spending time with people I miss. Not enough, obviously, but in order to make it greater later, I kind of got to get some things coming back in. I'm gonna be back home anyway in a little bit, but I want to get to the sunny parts of the country and shit and kind of be comfortable there. When I do that, I gotta, you know what I'm saying, keep it lit. So anyway, I'm not trying to advocate smoking. My ass relax better, especially on these social media platforms for smoking. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I got to get back to work. Already kind of started. I'm kind of excited about it. Um, I always talk about what I'm finna do with my social media stuff, and I'm finna just start doing it. I think, and that's really just not just talk about my work, but what I'm saying. I guess really try to spit and talk about I guess kind of life and times of being a young player like me. Anyway, um, man, so I think right away what I'm gonna do is continue to work off of my dissertation. Not necessarily work on my dissertation, but spin off of it. There's a lot of things I can do. I can look at even how well or to what extent or when I say the target population, I mean minority groups that are what I'm saying black and brown slash protected veterans, person with disabilities, obviously, and all that kind of thing. So I guess I'm thinking about when I'm compiling data on these different jurisdictions, keep track of how many times there's no data for a given, population group, right? A given aspect of the target group. That's one real easy one I can put together a paper anyway. That's kind of just built off of stuff I've already collected, or that I stay collecting anyway. Um, Also, I received two affirmative action plans from the universities. After it was too late, I was already in the one came in December, another one came in November type thing. It was too far gone to try to add that into the data that I was working with. Nonetheless, I can add those into last year's, but also I want to start sending out for updated affirmative action plans from the universities, especially the ones that already returned theirs, but also keep on soliciting others. I'm trying to decide if I want to re-solicit the ones that said no already or just move on to a new batch. And what I'll probably do is a little bit of both and just see how much luck I have. So I have the AAU universities. I'll probably just resubmit, public records requests to all those, and then also do the same thing for the maybe the SEC or maybe the CSUs or the UCs or something like that. Maybe another conference, an athletic conference, maybe like an if not the SEC. Well, I'll probably start with one of those three, obviously. But yeah, so I found out that there's more disabled people in Columbus, Ohio, even per capita, as a percentage of the population. There you go. Than there is in Santa Barbara, California. Just FYI, I don't know, interesting fact. However, there's far more brown people or Hispanic people in Santa Barbara than there is in Columbus, Ohio, and then also more indigenous people in Santa Barbara and more Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander, less black people in Santa Barbara. That is, there's more of a I don't know an amalgamation of, there's a wider range of types of people in Santa Barbara, even though it's more white than Columbus, Ohio is, I think, or maybe the whites are about the same if you account for the lack of blacks and the in Santa Barbara and the lack of Hispanics in Columbus. Just thoughts. Anyway, they got 9% of their population under 65 is reported on the U.S. Census as having a disability. Um, I think that's using I'm gonna call it the middle range type of cutoff, if you will. When I went to Ohio, I spoke about um, why they need to either standardize the cutoff or making distinctions instead of using the term disability. Even if you use the term disability 2 or 1 or something by the data, so you know exactly what you're looking at. Because depending on I know that those two are consistent the way they measure because they're both from the U.S. Census, kind of quick facts kind of thing. So they're going to use the same measure. But so it's 9% person with disabilities in Columbus, Ohio, and 6.5 or 6.8% in Santa Barbara. But there's instances where I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but oh well, it's cool. Maybe this would be a nerdy post, whatever. But there's instances where there'll be 9% according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and then if you look at, I don't know, maybe I would say U.S. Census Bureau for Columbus, Ohio, and then you look at maybe we'll just say National Center for Education Statistics in Santa Barbara. That's going to be more school children and stuff, but nonetheless, if you're using two different bodies that measure, and then one says there's only 2.5% in it will say Sacramento, for instance. We'll say Columbus has 9% according to the U.S. Census, and then we use a different data source to say there's 2.5% Sacramento. The problem with that is they could be using different ways of measuring disability, and unless you dig for it, then the lay person is going to look at that and be like, whoa, and that might not be necessarily accurate because they might be measuring it differently. I like that the affirmative action plans use the specific terminology, whether it's individuals with a disability or persons with a disability. You know that they're counting people who identify as such, rather than I guess the other ones say the same thing. Persons with disabilities under the age of 65 is what the census, the terminology census uses. So, yeah. Nonetheless, the argument I made at the last conference I went to, the philosophical conference, was that those distinctions need to be made more clear so the average person or someone who doesn't have the time, if you will, to dig into the measurements, the methodology behind it, can know, right off that they're looking at either two different types of counts or two different, in a way, populations. But yeah, I think I'm gonna talk a lot about maybe like disability culture, things that are, awkward, I guess, here and there, everywhere. As I travel where there's sidewalks, where there ain't, where there's accessibility, whether it's from a physical standpoint or even I don't know, where you might see braille in the elevators versus not. Talk about how people attitudes are, how people act, and approach people like myself or otherwise. But yeah, I'm kind of like excited in a lot of respects. I want to get back a little bit to my music. I'm not sure how it's gonna look, but I sure want to see how it feels. If it don't feel right, then I ain't gonna stick with it like that. If it feels good to me, or it feels like it's making something that's musical, or what I would otherwise want to listen to myself, or other people might want to listen to, or I would think other people might want to listen to, then I might, go ahead and push it a little bit more so, other than not. Mm, yeah, you know, just chilling. Tap in with the kid. So we'll out.